guys, thanks for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming to with another video review. And today we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Deluxe Class Decepticon Dragstrip. And oh boy, here we go with the Combiner Wars. This is one that I know a lot of people are really looking forward to. I mean, yeah, Optimus Prime was part of it, but he's kind of a throwaway, if you ask me. This is the first figure for Menasor, and unfortunately we have to wait to Wave 2 to get to the rest of them. But from what I've kind of pieced together, Hasbro didn't want to make one wave all Autobots. So they took a Decepticon from Menasor and put him in Wave 1, and they took an Autobot from Wave 1 and put him in Wave 2, so it kind of breaks things up, I guess. But as you can see, really cool packaging on here. I really like it. You got a little bit dark of a motif, kind of. You got the Generations logo, and then a really nice image of Dragstrip there in the back, and I love it. I think that's great. Definitely a collector kind of feel for the packaging. On the side here, you got Superion, which it's kind of silly that they had that, but you can see they got an image of Menasor right there, which that works for me a little bit better. But he also does include a collector card, which is kind of neat. Come around here to the back, and then you can see that they have him combining with Superion, which is stupid, honestly. But like I said, they just wanted to break up the wave so that it's not all Autobots, and I guess that makes sense. As you can see, it says he's a ruthless Decepticon racer. And that's it. One thing that's really cool is that he can become an arm or a leg. So Scramble City is alive and well in what Hasbro's doing with the new combiners, and I dig it. But for the packaging, that's about it for him. So we've waited long enough for these guys. So let's get him open and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have Dragstrip opened up and out of its packaging. And right up front, I cannot express to you guys just how impressed I am with this. This figure is absolutely simple, but really is well done. I mean, it really goes to show just what Hasbro is able to do in terms of engineering and design while still keeping it simple. I mean, this is a absolute wonderful homage to that Dragstrip character. I mean, it's not spot on, but I mean, it absolutely evokes that same look. As you can see, you got some very simple color choices here. You got the yellow, which is a very similar yellow color to how he was in G1. I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't go with a brighter or a darker look, and I'll show that off here in a minute. You got a nice printed Decepticon logo. You got the purple on there, which that's a little bit off of a purple. It's not too bad obviously when you compare it to the G1, but it obviously gets the point across. You got nice tires, you got silver rims, you got the silver connectors here, you got some silver here. Rolls very well. I mean, this is just absolutely terrific. I mean, it is a little bit stylized, especially here in the back, but I think still looks absolutely terrific. Now, for a comparison, here he is. Here's his G1 self, and like I said, color-wise, I mean, I'm actually pretty impressed with how they kind of copied the color. This might be a little bit darker. I mean, you can see it's a little bit darker, not a heck of a lot. And then when you look at the purple, this is his head. You can see that the purple is a little bit lighter, but I mean, still really terrific looking. As I said, not a exact homage to it, but really does get the point across here. He does come with a couple accessories. He's got his foot or hand, and he comes with a sword or gun. I mean, I use this more as a sword. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is, while this is the only Decepticon in Wave 1, and part of that being because they want to break up that whole just all Autobots, the other thing that they really want to showcase by having a Decepticon in here is highlighting that these are really true Scramble City combiners, which all the way back in G1, the original figures could be interchanged. You could have it be either an arm or a leg, and you could swap them with different main torsos. So, for example, Dragstrip here, you could put with Superion if you wanted, and it could be his leg or his arm. That's the same exact thing that they're doing with these. And the thing that I absolutely love is they have the legs and the arms separate from the actual body, so it doesn't interfere with the engineering here. That's one of the problems with that I saw with like Power Core combiners. They fit too much stuff into one figure, as opposed to just giving it a peg hole and having a separate accessory. So here's his foot. Color-wise, you can see that is pretty much the same as well. Now this is Dragstrip's hand. Typically speaking in G1, he was an arm, and that's how I'll probably display him. But here's his leg. To get his arm or hand mode, I need to use this because you got to pull his little fingers out just like so. Then you got his hand, fold this just like that. You put that peg there, and then you lift this forward, and now you have his fist, which, I mean, that is really, really quite creative. He's got these little prongs hanging out here, but that's really very creative. You can't get that up any higher. That's about as high as it goes, but that works very nicely for me. I'm totally digging that. Now, setting these off to the side. Now, for his transformation, I'm going to show you first his leg mode, just because that's the easiest to kind of get to from that mode, I guess. What you want to basically do is take the top section here, separate this, give this a nice little tug. Well, pull it the right way. Pull it back like that. Rotate this around and get that head out of the way. Rotate that around, and then you got a little peg right here that's going to slot into a hole right there. Just put that in just like that. Keep his head back like this. Then again, we're going to his leg, so pull this little section out. This is the combiner port, so bring that out. Then you want to take this, loosen this, and the instructions are not very clear on this, but you want to lift this, and then obviously if I'm going into his leg mode, this should be in his leg form. Now, one thing that I'll say is that and then you just plug that in, and this is his leg mode. Now, in keeping with the true look for Menasor, this is kind of how you should have it. In G1, the bottom of the car, when they made the legs, that's what was facing forward. Now, if you were to do that with the G1 toy, you can't actually do it. So putting this down, this would be his leg. I don't have the little leg piece down here, but this is how the leg would be for the G1 toy. So basically what you're looking at is this. That's how he would be. And it's kind of interesting that it's basically the exact same as the G1 toy. I'm hoping that the other figures that come out that are meant to make his legs can be positioned this way, because that's really how I want to display my Menasor. But the one thing, you can't leave it this way, because this connector bit right here won't bend back that way as part of his knee. So you keep it this way, and then it bends here at the knee, just like so. And to show you how it combines, I'm going to use the Ultimate Optimus Prime, because this is basically going to be Menasor. I refuse to put this guy on Silverbolt. It just seems weird. It shouldn't happen. You just take this, and you can see the little spring bit right here. Lock that in, and that's it. Now you have his leg, and setting that there, I mean, you can see just what's going to basically happen. You can have the bend at the knee right there. Obviously, he's got really large thighs, but if you did this in the true look for it, it really, you could get it to look like that, but you wouldn't be able to rotate his leg or anything. So, and then this just detaches out that way. You got a little lip right here that, as you put this in there, it kind of rests down on here to kind of give it some resistance. It slides off fairly easily, but it's not going to fall out when you're doing that, and that is wonderful. I love that strength. You can see that it rotates right there as well. So, and again, I don't know why I keep putting it that way, but putting it there, I mean, that just really is great. There's a rotation there. You can see he's got the bend right there. That's all wonderful and very secure, and I absolutely love that. So there's his leg. Now, in going to his actual robot mode, you're going to want to take this off, and then take this, return that back down there. This you can go ahead and leave, rotate this around, bring the head down, and then you're going to rotate the head right there. This is going to be back there just as part of the transformation anyhow, so you might as well just leave it there. Take this, separate this, bring these arms out, angle these all the way up here at the shoulder, bring this all the way, then you rotate at the waist, separate the legs, bring the little fists out right there, and that's it. I mean, very simple, but so effective and looks absolutely terrific. There was really only one part about this figure that I don't like, and that's probably his head. Now, zooming in for that, I just really think that it looks weird. I mean, you can see that he's got a mouth underneath there, but the way that the lines come down around the side and across the bottom, you can see, like, there's his mouth right in there. I mean, like, right underneath his nose. But everything else, it makes it look like he's got a big frown down there, and he's got like eyes that are bleeding down, and you got a big, I don't know. It's a weird looking head sculpt. It's not terrible, but that's probably the only part that I dislike. I guess if I want to be nitpicky, I'm also not a big fan of the fact that the screw holes are just so prominent right there. I really do wish that they came with plugs or something that you could put in there. Like I said, that's more than likely just a nitpick on my part, but everything else on this really is quite impressive. As simple as the transformation is, it comes together very nicely on here. You see he's got a nice Decepticon logo right up on there. You got some more purple here in his hands. You can see that this is the connector, the piece, and it kind of sticks out and it's obvious there, but there's not really much you can do about that. But at least the molding in there kind of looks good and goes along with the rest of the overall body. But he looks really very nice. It's so incredibly impressive how they were able to get such a wonderful looking robot mode out of a wonderful looking vehicle mode with such a simple transformation. I mean, it really shows their ingenuity. Now, for the articulation, the head it's very stiff, which kind of makes me worried as you're rotating it. It might put stress on the peg that's sticking out, but it rotates fairly nicely. The shoulders here are on ball joints. These are also really very stiff. You can move it up and down at that ball joint as well, and then as part of the transformation, you got that little just swivel joint right there. He rotates at the upper part of the bicep. He bends here at the elbow. The wrists just move in and out, again, as part of the transformation. Then also as part of the transformation, he rotates at the waist, which is also a really stiff joint, which will come in handy because that's going to kind of be his elbow area in arm mode. He rotates at the upper part of the bicep or thigh. He bends here at the knee. No articulation in the feet. I guess you could, if you wanted to bend that, maybe make that his foot. You could have him like, look at me. I don't know why you would want to do that. So we're just going to leave that there. But I mean, the guy is just really terrific looking. He stands actually pretty well too. Some people were complaining about how he can't stand. I don't know why they were complaining about it. He stands perfectly fine for me. Heck of a lot easier than that RID, the Steeljaw figure. Now, I guess you could say that it's a little bit weak here, just as because these collapse in. I guess that could make them topple back a little bit, but I don't think it's really all that bad, to be totally honest with you. But I think he stands pretty well. So, well, now that I'm saying it, he doesn't want to stand all that well, but he stands there. So just fiddling with him a little bit. Now for a comparison, here he is, and here's his G1 self. And see, okay, neither of them stand good. Oh, that's great. But again, my table here, I've said this many times, is actually curved, so that throws off some of the stability on the figures, but you can see really nice comparison here. I mean, really the only thing that's, I guess, drastically different is that he's got wheels on the upper part of his arms, and he doesn't have wheels here, although he does have holes, I guess you could say. I do kind of wish that maybe the chrome that was used here for his chest was kind of carried over with that. That would look pretty cool if it was painted chrome. It may make it a little bit more difficult, or the paint could probably chip off a little bit easier, but maybe if that had a nice silver paint on there, like a Takara one or something like that, would probably look a little bit better than just this light gray plastic. But you're seeing that he is a pretty good size. Now, unfortunately, this is the only figure that I have out. It's Scoop. But you can see that he's actually bigger than Scoop is. So the Deluxe figures are getting a little bit bigger, and I think that's going to work perfectly for the whole combiner thing. And I really got that impression as well with the Voyager figures. Now, to transform him into his arm mode, which is going to be the primary mode that I'm going to have him in, you do want to get this situated for being a fist, so I can't ever do this right. Just fold this out. I don't have fingernails, you guys know that. So fold this out. One thing that's actually really cool is in a true combiner sort of, or Scramble City fashion, where the arms or the figures can be arms or legs on any figure, the hands can also, or well, in this case a hand, I mean, I guess a foot could be either or as well, but the hand could be both right or left. So like this one is a right hand. You rotate this around and flip it, and now it's a left hand. So that's kind of cool. That's something that you really couldn't do with the G1 figure. I mean, this was always going to be a right fist, so that's kind of cool. So getting that right there, that's going to be a right fist as well. Now, the proper transformation instructions go along like this. You want to take the hands, tuck these in just like so. Take the head, rotate that around, and then tuck that back just like that. Then you rotate these. It's kind of weird how they have you do this. They have you bring this around something like this. I get it wrong. Here we go. And you angle it in like that. There you go. They want you to tuck it down, rotate here at this, and then bring it in like so. That's how they actually have the instructions showing you how to do it, which is kind of weird. And then you take the legs, connect those, rotate that around like so. Then you take this combiner port and get this out. And again, if I had fingernails, it would be a little bit easier, but bring that out like so. Bring that, obviously that's going to be his elbow, and then you take this and then you peg it in there, and there you have his arm. And it's kind of weird how they have you doing it like this, but it works, I guess. Now, if you really wanted to, you could bring this up and in true drag strip fashion, give him that much more G1 look. This is a little tough getting these to line up without breaking. Maybe do something like that. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be open to interpretation, obviously, however you want to do it, but that keeps a little bit more of that look. Now, getting this guy in his arm mode, again, I usually, that was complicated to do. It really shouldn't have been. These things are so old. But then you do this, and you take the head, get this out of the way, and then you bring the thing down like that. And that's kind of how Dragstrip looked in the cartoon with that front section up. So you could do something like that. I don't think that looks all that bad. I mean, you could maybe do it like that. I don't know. It does definitely have a lot more of a bulky look than the official way of doing it, which I don't mind, honestly. I mean, because even if you keep these up like this, it kind of gives you that look where there's something going on at the top. And why didn't that peg? Oh, there we go. Peg that in just like that. But there you have the arm. And again, you're going to see the shoulder rotates here. This is going to be his elbow joint. So you got the bend right there. I mean, I guess you could have double bends. If you wanted to, you could probably collapse that down and just have that be a bend. It's your personal preference. And then you can rotate it like that. You can rotate that, keep that kind of straight. Now for the connectivity for the limb mode, again, bringing in my makeshift Motormaster, just slide this down and it locks into place just like that. And honestly, I kind of like leaving it bent like that, where it's collapsed in a little bit more. It looks a little bit nicer. And these, I mean, these just peg in, but I think that looks a little bit better like so. I mean, I definitely think it's going to look cool with Motormaster on there, but if you wanted to, again, you could just extend that on. It doesn't give that much of a length to it, but that's going to be his arm. And again, it's pretty secure in there. I mean, you can rotate that very well. It's not coming out. It actually, I mean, you could bend it outward as well as part of the fact that that little combiner port does flex forward and back. So you do got a lot of articulation in this, and I'm really digging the way that this is looking. I'm just kind of bummed that we got to wait all the way till Wave 2 to get the rest of these. So really very nice. Now taking this out, straighten this all out again. We're going to go back to his vehicle mode. Well, let's start back in his full official robot form. Just something like that. I'm not going to fold out his hands because I'm just going to bring those back out or put those back away anyhow. So boom. All right. So now here we have him in his robot mode. Again, all you do, you rotate this, bring this section up. And the one thing that does kind of trouble me, then you're going to spin this around. You got these two little tabs right here and here, that slot on the side here. You have to be careful because if you start pushing one in and the other one's not in, it could possibly bust that tab. So kind of grab here on the side and push, and then bring that in. That'll lock that into place fairly securely, and you don't have to worry about any tabs breaking. Then rotate this around like so. Going to bring these two halves together, give that a nice squeeze, lock that into place, collapse this down, collapse that down, Then you bring this up like so. I guess you could wait to collapse that all in, because then all you do is just fit everything together and make sure you push that up. And here you have Dragstrip back in his vehicle mode. Now the bottom line is, if somebody came up to me and said use one word to describe this figure, I would probably say that word would be fun. I am having so much fun with this. Vehicle mode looks terrific. It's a nice update while still maintaining that Dragstrip look and feel. And as stupid simple as the transformation is, it works wonderfully. It's very effective, and like I said, fun. The only thing that I don't really like, as I mentioned, would probably be the head sculpt. That and the little screw, the visible screws, that's kind of ugly, but I mean, everything else is so great, I really shouldn't even complain that much about those. And the best part is that when it comes to combining this, being a true Scramble City really does work with this. And it's implemented wonderfully. The leg mode works great. The arm mode works great. I am so excited about getting the rest of these Stunticons. I just really want them to come out much sooner. Hasbro has absolutely hit a home run with this figure. And we just gotta wait for the rest of those Stunticons to find out if it was a grand slam. Now, these Combiner War figures are slowly trickling out to different places around the world. So keep your eyes open. But if you can't find them in retail right now, there's always Big Bad Toy Store. You can pre-order them and you can lock them in and make sure that you get these just as soon as they release. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my new website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like, comment, and share this video. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.